The Mongols, under the leadership of Genghis Khan and his successors, created one of the largest empires in history. Known for their military prowess and strategic brilliance, the Mongol warriors were a formidable force that struck fear into the hearts of their enemies. The success of the Mongols on the battlefield can be attributed to two key factors: their ferocity and discipline. Ferocity was a defining characteristic of the Mongol warriors. Raised in the harsh and unforgiving steppes of Central Asia, they were hardened from an early age. The Mongols were skilled horsemen, capable of riding for long distances without tiring. They were expert archers, capable of shooting accurately from horseback while moving at high speeds. This combination of mobility and deadly accuracy made them a devastating force on the battlefield. The Mongols were also known for their brutal tactics. They employed psychological warfare, often instilling terror in their opponents before a battle. They would ride towards their enemies, letting out blood-curdling war cries and firing arrows into the air, creating an intimidating spectacle. The Mongols would sometimes even feign retreat, luring their enemies into a false sense of security before launching a devastating counterattack. This ruthless approach, combined with their superior military skills, gave the Mongols a significant advantage in warfare. However, it was not just their ferocity that made the Mongols such formidable warriors. Discipline played a crucial role as well. The Mongol army was highly organized and disciplined, following a strict code of conduct. Each warrior was trained to follow orders without question and to remain loyal to their commanders and the empire. This discipline allowed the Mongols to execute complex military maneuvers with precision and coordination. The Mongol military structure was hierarchical, with commanders at various levels responsible for their units. The chain of command was well established, and orders were relayed efficiently from the top down. Mongol warriors were trained to work together as a cohesive unit, moving in unison on the battlefield. They were adept at surrounding and overwhelming their enemies, using their superior numbers and coordination to their advantage. Discipline was further reinforced by a strong system of rewards and punishments. Mongol warriors who displayed exceptional bravery and skill in battle were rewarded with honors, riches, and promotions. On the other hand, those who disobeyed orders or showed cowardice were severely punished, sometimes even with death. This strict enforcement of discipline ensured that the Mongol army remained cohesive and focused on achieving victory. In conclusion, the Mongol warriors were renowned for their ferocity and discipline, two key factors that contributed to their military success. Their relentless ferocity and brutal tactics struck fear into their enemies' hearts, while their discipline and organization allowed them to execute complex military maneuvers with precision. The Mongols' military prowess and ability to adapt to various combat situations enabled them to conquer vast territories and establish one of the greatest empires in history. The legacy of the Mongol warriors remains an enduring testament to their ferocity, discipline, and indomitable spirit. The Mongol army, structure and organization. The Mongol Empire, led by the visionary Genghis Khan and later his successors, established a formidable military force that conquered vast territories across Asia and Europe. The success of the Mongols on the battlefield can be attributed, in large part, to their unique and highly effective army structure and organization. At the heart of the Mongol army was the principle of meritocracy. Unlike many contemporary armies that relied on noble birth or social status, the Mongols valued skill, ability, and loyalty above all else. This allowed talented individuals from all backgrounds to rise through the ranks based on their merits, fostering a culture of excellence within the military. The Mongol army was organized into a decimal system, known as the Tumen. The Tumen consisted of units of 10,000 soldiers, which were further divided into units of 1,110 soldiers. This hierarchical structure allowed for efficient command and control, as orders could be issued from the top down and swiftly communicated throughout the ranks. At the head of each Tumen was a commander, known as a Tumen Noyan, who was appointed based on skill and proven leadership abilities. These commanders were responsible for the overall strategy and coordination of their respective Tumens. They reported directly to the supreme commander, usually the Khan or one of his trusted generals. Below the Tumen Noyans were the leaders of the units of 1,000 soldiers, known as Minghans. The Minghans were commanded by experienced officers who were skilled in both combat and tactics. They were responsible for executing the orders of the Tumanoyan and ensuring the cohesion and effectiveness of their respective units. Further down the hierarchy were the leaders of the units of 100 soldiers, known as Jagans, and the leaders of the units of 10 soldiers, known as Arban. These leaders were typically chosen based on their combat prowess and demonstrated leadership abilities. They played a crucial role in maintaining discipline and coordination within their units during battles. The Mongol army had a highly efficient communication system that enabled swift transmission of orders and information across vast distances. This was achieved through a network of messengers, known as Enkuns, who were skilled horsemen capable of riding long distances at great speed. These messengers would carry messages and relay commands from the commanders to the lower-ranking officers, ensuring that everyone was informed and coordinated. Another key aspect of the Mongol army's organization was its ability to integrate and assimilate conquered peoples into its ranks. The Mongols recognized the strengths and capabilities of different cultures and incorporated them into their army. Conquered soldiers who demonstrated loyalty and skill were often assimilated into the Mongol forces, adding to their military strength and diversity. The Mongol army was renowned for its mobility and adaptability. The soldiers were skilled horsemen and archers, capable of launching swift cavalry attacks and engaging in hit-and-run tactics. They were also skilled in siege warfare, using innovative strategies and advanced weaponry to overcome fortified cities and strongholds. In conclusion, the Mongol army's structure and organization played a pivotal role in their military successes. Their decentralized yet efficient command structure, emphasis on meritocracy, and integration of diverse cultures contributed to their ability to conquer and govern vast territories. The Mongol army's flexibility, adaptability, and relentless pursuit of excellence on the battlefield remain a testament to their military prowess and legacy as one of the most formidable fighting forces in history. Training in warfare, mastery of horsemanship and archery. The Mongols, renowned for their military might and conquests, owed much of their success on the battlefield to their mastery of horsemanship and archery. The rigorous training and skill development in these two crucial disciplines allowed the Mongol warriors to become a formidable force, capable of executing lightning-fast cavalry attacks with deadly accuracy. From a young age, Mongol boys were raised in a culture deeply rooted in horsemanship. They were taught to ride and handle horses with exceptional skill, becoming proficient equestrians. The Mongols' nomadic lifestyle on the vast steppes of Central Asia provided the perfect environment for developing their horsemanship abilities. They would spend countless hours in the saddle, honing their riding techniques and forging a strong bond with their horses. Mongol warriors were trained to ride bareback, without the use of saddles or stirrups, which allowed for greater maneuverability and agility on horseback. They developed exceptional balance and control, enabling them to execute complex maneuvers and engage in combat while riding at full speed. The Mongols' intimate knowledge of their horses and their ability to communicate through subtle cues created a formidable partnership between rider and steed. Archery was another essential skill that the Mongol warriors perfected. They were trained from a young age to wield the composite bow, a powerful and compact weapon that could be easily carried on horseback. The Mongols' archery techniques were unique and highly effective. They were skilled in shooting accurately while riding at full gallop, making them a deadly force in mounted archery. Mongol archers developed incredible strength and dexterity in their arms, shoulders, and fingers through years of practice. They could draw the bowstring with remarkable force and shoot arrows with great speed and precision. The Mongols' composite bow had a longer range and greater penetrating power compared to other bows of the time, giving them a significant advantage in battle. Training exercises for Mongol warriors involved repetitive shooting and riding drills. They would shoot at targets while riding at various speeds, perfecting their aim and accuracy. Mongol archers were capable of hitting targets as small as a bird in mid-flight, showcasing their extraordinary marksmanship skills. They were also trained to shoot from different positions, including shooting backwards while retreating, adding to their versatility in battle. The combination of exceptional horsemanship and archery skills allowed the Mongols to execute their signature tactic, the feigned retreat. This tactic involved luring their enemies into pursuing them, only to turn around suddenly and launch a devastating counterattack. The Mongol warriors would rain down a barrage of arrows on their pursuers, causing chaos and panic among the enemy ranks. This tactic exploited the Mongols' superior mobility and archery skills, often leading to decisive victories on the battlefield. Moreover, the Mongols employed a disciplined and rigorous training regime. They were subjected to intense physical conditioning and endurance exercises, preparing them for the rigors of warfare. Mongol warriors were known for their stamina, capable of riding for long distances without rest, allowing them to launch surprise attacks and sustain prolonged campaigns. In conclusion, the Mongols' mastery of horsemanship and archery was instrumental in their military success. Their exceptional riding skills, combined with deadly accuracy in archery, made them a formidable force on the battlefield. Through rigorous training, they developed the strength, agility, and discipline necessary to execute complex maneuvers and engage in relentless hit-and-run tactics. The legacy of the Mongols' training and expertise in horsemanship and archery remains a testament to their unparalleled military prowess and enduring impact on the history of warfare. Psychological warfare, terror as a tactical tool. In the art of warfare, psychological tactics have long been recognized as a powerful tool for achieving victory. Among these tactics, the strategic use of terror has been employed by various military forces throughout history. One notable example is the Mongol Empire, which harnessed the power of terror as a deliberate psychological warfare tactic, striking fear into the hearts of their enemies and weakening their resolve. The Mongols understood that instilling terror in the minds of their opponents could provide them with a significant advantage on the battlefield. They employed a range of psychological tactics designed to intimidate, demoralize, and psychologically manipulate their enemies. By creating an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty, the Mongols sought to weaken their adversaries' will to fight and to enhance their own chances of victory. One of the most iconic psychological tactics employed by the Mongols was the terrifying spectacle they created on the battlefield. Before engaging in combat, the Mongols would unleash blood-curdling war cries, known as nurj, which echoed across the battlefield, creating an atmosphere of terror and intimidation. They would ride towards their enemies, wearing intimidating masks and wielding weapons, their horses galloping at full speed. This display of ferocity and aggression was intended to disorient and demoralize the opposing forces, sowing seeds of fear and panic. The Mongols were skilled in exploiting the element of surprise to instill terror in their enemies. They would launch sudden and unexpected raids, often targeting civilian populations and non-combatants. The mercilessness and brutality of their attacks left a lasting impact on those who witnessed or heard about their actions. News of the Mongols' reputation for violence and ruthlessness would spread like wildfire, causing fear and dread among potential adversaries. Furthermore, the Mongols employed psychological tactics that aimed to manipulate their enemies' perceptions and decision-making processes. They would sometimes feign retreat during battle, luring their opponents into a false sense of security. Once the enemy forces gave chase, the Mongols would suddenly turn around and launch a devastating counterattack. This tactic not only caused confusion and chaos but also undermined the enemy's confidence, as they realized the Mongols were constantly in control of the situation. The Mongols also utilized terror as a means of psychological warfare during sieges. They would employ horrific tactics, such as massacres, public executions, and the use of human shields, to create a climate of extreme terror and desperation within the besieged city. The aim was to break the morale and resistance of the defenders, coercing them into surrendering without a prolonged fight. It is important to note that the Mongols did not rely solely on terror as a means of achieving victory. They were also skilled in conventional warfare, employing strategic planning, superior military tactics, and advanced weaponry. However, the psychological impact of their terror tactics cannot be underestimated. The fear they instilled in their enemies often led to a loss of morale, disarray, and a weakened will to fight, ultimately contributing to the Mongols' military successes. In conclusion, the Mongols recognized the power of psychological warfare and effectively employed terror as a tactical tool. Their use of intimidating spectacles, surprise attacks, manipulation of perceptions, and extreme brutality left a lasting impact on their adversaries. By instilling fear and undermining the morale of their enemies, the Mongols gained a distinct psychological advantage on the battlefield. While terror tactics alone cannot guarantee victory, the Mongols' strategic use of psychological warfare played a significant role in their military conquests and solidified their reputation as a fearsome force in history.